Okay, hashtag wow, hashtag now, and I want to ask, well, John Candy from 1994 will ask one important question. What if you turned 41 and your life is crap? Well, hold on, do some artwork here. I just watched the movie Hostage for a Day. I haven't seen this in quite some time. Well, 1991. It was kind of an interesting thing. George, I can't pronounce his last name, but he played a man who, and they really, really want to hammer this home. Everybody in his life is, except for his friends, are very, very horrible. The town's not very bright, especially the law enforcement. And his wife, yeah, it makes you kind of wonder how these two actually got married, like at all, like ever. His job's not going very well. His competitor, again, nice man, but again, he's doing way better in business. You see him doing all these circus. It's for a copy company, I think it is. And they're really going to show that, in fact, this guy, for some reason, this copy company is able to have like a circus outside for the promotion for the jobs. Again, it is a comedy, but it's a dark comedy. But again, they really want to hammer certain things home. The guy who played Norm from not Norm McDonald, Norm from Cheers. He dreams of a life of going to Alaska. If actually even living there. So at any rate, he sees over time. He sees over $47,000. So I'm not going to go to blah 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 blah. So just say 47,000. Over $47,000. Just easier to say. His wife, on the other hand, again, not very good wife. Plans on remodeling the house for the second time. Again, the usual. She tries to manipulate him. Says things about, oh, you don't really love me. Forgets his birthday, which she really doesn't care about. She's more care about image. You get to a point where, how can I put this? He is visited by his subconscious. So again, I know it's a rare but not unheard of thing. I think there was a whole TV show. It was based on a comedian that's known to be very, very loud. And there was, let's see, what else was there? Oh yeah, Harley Quinn actually did a good job with this one. But yeah, Saint Harley would, when Harley Quinn goes off the rails, Saint Harley would jump in once in a while. I kind of missed that. I don't know if I remember they did this in the last season, but I do like the idea of Saint Harley. So again, it's like the idea of this voice would jump in and give someone a reality check. The reality check kind of reminds them that, yeah, your life is crap and you can't stop ignoring me. He gets to a point where he says things like, let's see here, let's go through the ages. We go through your life, you figure you have all the time in the world. But when you start hitting 41, and your life hasn't gone very well, that's when you start ignoring your life and start questioning things. At any rate, ignore the TV in the background. Sorry about that. I'll try to lower it a bit. I like watching television while I do stuff. But at any rate, his subconscious tells him that he needs to rethink his life. He goes to work. His father is abusive, very abusive. His wife disrespects him at every turn. In fact, he even cheats on him with the decorator, but he doesn't care because he wants a divorce. But here's the problem: the money, his nest egg, was stolen by his wife to pay for all that expensive upkeep, well, new remodeling. So now, what does he do? Well, if you guess that he calls the police and have her arrested, well, congratulations, you're very smart. But I would guess it wouldn't be a very entertaining story, would it? No, he actually puts a bunch of road flares. Get to a point where he was subconscious, like, yeah, I said to put your life in order, but wow. Anyway, there was a story about Russian mafia. They were out there. Oh, sorry, was it mafia? Well, all right. Well, two Russian. Oh, it doesn't really matter. They're from the Soviet Union. He deducts a plan saying, "I want $50,000 or to blow me up." And of course, the wife doesn't care. Actually, doesn't care a lot. I'll give you the short version. I mean, she's really not concerned about his safety whatsoever. They really want to nail home that she's a bad person. Eventually, he says, "Oh, okay, I'll blow up the house." Eventually, the cops are involved, and again, they're not very bright. At any rate, they want to get the $15,000, which is roughly what the money they owe. Now, before all this, I guess skipped over something important. He does meet an old girlfriend of his. Well, old friend that was a girl. He meets his friend who pretends to kidnap him. So both of them are involved. Very important part of the story. He gives them a cell phone. Now their cell phone only at the time it only accepts calls. You only can make calls, but don't accept calls. I don't know what the joke is. He wants to get involved back to his friend again. Hopefully make more than just friends. But she's trying to get her life back together when she runs a pizza place. So the question is, so again, they're part of their lives. And they end up helping them. I mean, he really wants to get back, but he understands that she has her own life. A friend eventually, he says, "Wow, you're doing something very illegal here, so good luck in court." So it doesn't look like they're going to be on his side. So he goes through the whole thing. And eventually, actual Russians show up. And they are not too happy. So they want the money. They want the money instead. Makes sense, I guess. At any rate, the father really wants to go in himself. I don't know what his plan was. But eventually, of course, he gets the better of him. He escapes in a van. And eventually, he runs. His friend of his helps him out on this case. I mean, he does say, "Well, I only want to get the 47,000 plus that they took from me." And the other guy's like, "No, I'm going to take the rest of the money. I have expenses too." Because keep in mind, he's indicted himself or something. I don't know what it was. They never explained. And of course, he goes around. He tells to the people of the Soviet Union, for example, the two Russian guys. Of course, he's going to make a deal for like a movie deal. It's like, because of course, money. Of course, you got to pay a living too. Eventually, he does escape. He does. Originally, he was going to talk him out of it. He's going to say, "Listen, I know a person that did it and survived for 10 months, and you should live a mediocre life." Like again, originally these two were against him. And even the lawyer there, he's all like, "Listen, I know a guy who tried and he used a credit card. Like, look, just accept the fact that life is a prison sentence and death is your way of escaping." And they realized after a while, he came around and realized, you know what? Screw it. Live your life. Go for it. Just don't use credit cards. So it's interesting how he said, look, try to give one bit of advice about keeping your new life. Eventually, he does go to Alaska. And it's kind of a try not to cry moment. He buys a place, and he says, "You know what? I'm glad you bought this place. You get some new jobs. It's a true freedom." He's like, "I'm going to do some fishing." And he goes like, "Yeah, I'm going to do some stuff in the back." He talks to his reflection. And the reflection's all like, "Nah, calm down. I'm just here to say how things are doing and say goodbye. But tell me something. Is there something missing in your life?" He said, "Well, more like someone's missing." Eventually, the friend here, the girlfriend, well, I don't know if the girlfriends were the kids, but she showed up. It's like, "Yeah, is it me?" And again, it is a teary moment. So, again, that's the gist of Hostage for a Day. A moment where you realize your life is not yours. And you must make drastic changes in order to make your life happy. So here's a question I ask you. Is your life happy? What drastic changes do you like to make? I mean, hopefully you don't do what he did, hold yourself hostage. So hopefully you don't have people that horrible like he had. But what would you do to finally reclaim your life? To me, I'm making small changes like videos like this and still working my artwork. Like I said, it gets worse when you're 50. When you're 50, when you're 40, you watch everybody half your age live your life. When you hit 50, you watch people retire from their lives. So I can understand, this movie does hit pretty hard, especially the older you get. So did you watch Hostage for today? What were your thoughts on the movie? Does it get harder and harder to watch? Because in the sense, does it hit you more when you get older you get? Do you like the idea that the actor who played Norm does other roles? So what do you thought of this story? Write the comments below, and I would like to thank you for getting me to 51 subscribers, but let's get me to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. See you in the next video.